Hi, I am Zane, a relationship consultant and psychologist. If this is your first time here, welcome to SDR TV, where we speak the quiet truths about love, resilience, and emotional weariness. Today, I want to talk about something that often goes unnoticed. It is not a crisis or a visible breakdown. It is not loud or dramatic. It's quiet, consistent, and often deeply lonely. It is the experience of being the strong one. The one everyone turns to, the one who always seems okay. But what happens when being okay becomes a mask you cannot take off? What happens when no one sees the cost of your strength? This episode is for the people who carry more than they show and who are starting to feel the weight of it. The weight of being the strong one. Some people carry an invisible weightan expectation to always be okay, to be the one others lean on, to show up strong no matter what. But behind that strength, there is often a quiet exhaustion. Because being the strong one is not just about handling life, it is about carrying the emotional burdens of others while suppressing your own. And that suppression, over time, does something subtle but deep to the psyche. It teaches you to delay your pain, to make it smaller, to tuck it into corners no one can see. You smile when you are aching. You function when you are barely holding on. And you begin to forget what it feels like to be emotionally honest, even with yourself, too. Where the role begins, this role usually begins early. Maybe you were the oldest child. Maybe your family was chaotic and you learned to be the stable one. Maybe you saw your parents struggling and decided, even without words, that you would not add to their load, so you smiled. You coped. You made things easier. And somewhere along the way, it stopped feeling like a choice. It became who you were expected to be, not because others told you, but because no one ever asked how you were doing. That silence teaches you something potent. Your needs are secondary. Your feelings are optional. You become skilled at hiding your discomfort, not because it feels good, but because it feels safer. The habit of strength, once born, becomes a performance and, eventually, an identity. 3. The unseen toll people think strength means being unaffected. But true strength often comes with deep emotional labor swallowing grief, silencing fear, hiding vulnerability. You become so good at functioning that people forget you are human. The pain of this is not just in what you carry. It is in how rarely anyone notices you are carrying it. The cost is subtle but severe. Isolation, burnout, even emotional numbness. And still, you keep going, because somewhere deep down, you fear what might happen if you stop. There is an internalized fear that everything will unravel if you let go, even for a moment. So you resist rest. You avoid reflection. You become disconnected from your own emotional reality. And the longer you live this way, the harder it becomes to ask, what do I actually need? 4. The cycle of emotional containment. When you are the strong one, people turn to you in crisis. They confide in you, lean on you, rely on your steadiness. But where do you go? Who do you call when your chest feels heavy? The truth is, the world often forgets to make space for strong people to fall apart. So you start to contain everything. You package your pain in politeness, your rage in reason, your sorrow in silence. It becomes a cycle: carry, contain, collapse, repeat. And the worst part? You still think asking for help is a kind of failure, or is shame in needing support, because you have been praised so long for not needing it. So you become emotionally self-sufficient to a fault. You minimize your experiences. You invalidate your own pain. And in doing so, you become invisible not to others, but to yourself. 5. Moments of quiet desperation. There are moments that break the routine. Nights when the mask slips. Mornings when you feel brittle and raw, unable to keep pretending. And yet even then, you often pull yourself together because falling apart feels like a betrayal of the person others believe you to be. But strength without softness is not sustainable. And self-denial is not self-care. You need space to be weak, to be real, to be held. These moments of quiet desperation are not failures. They are signals. Signals that something inside you is reaching out, asking for tenderness, for presence, for reprieve. And when those signals are ignored, the ache grows, spreads into your body, your energy, your relationships. You begin to resent the very people who rely on you, not because you do not love them, but because you are emptying yourself to meet needs that no one reciprocates. 6. Reclaiming your right to rest. Real strength includes knowing when to rest, when to stop holding everything, when to say, I am not okay. It means acknowledging that your needs matter too, that your pain is not a burden. The vulnerability does not diminish your worth, it deepens your humanity. Let yourself be seen without your armor, that others meet you in your mess. Healing does not come from perfection. It comes from honesty. Rest is not a weakness. It is an act of reclaiming your wholeness. It is a form of protest against a world that rewards overfunctioning. It is the quiet decision to matter to yourself. And when you choose rest, when you allow yourself that gentleness, something begins to shift. You feel less alone. You begin to remember what tenderness feels like. You begin to trust that being cared for is not something you have to earn. 7. An invitation to be held. If you are tired of being the strong one, you are not alone. You are not weak for needing support. You are not selfish for wanting space. You are human, and you deserve connection, care, and emotional rest. Let yourself soften. Let yourself speak. You do not have to carry it all. You never did. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is to let yourself be held by a friend, by a therapist, by your own arms. There is beauty in being seen without pretense. There is safety in honesty. And there is healing in asking for help. You have been strong for so long, but strength does not mean silence. It does not mean suffering alone. It means choosing what honors your heart, not just your image. If this touched something in you, subscribe to STR TV. Here, we hold space for the stories beneath the strength. I want to hear from you. Have you been through something like this? How did you deal with it? Let us talk about it. Next time, we will explore how unmet emotional needs manifest in adult relationships and what healing can look like.